Sinners is a new period horror movie written and directed by Ryan Coogler, starring Michael B. Jordan. In this movie, Michael B. Jordan takes on this dual role. He plays these twin brothers, Smoke and Stack. They've been doing some business in Chicago, working for Al Capone. They've made their way back to their hometown in Mississippi. They've got this big plan to open up this blues music club of sorts, and on opening night, everything looks like it's going great. Until a supernatural evil in this town has made itself known, has made their way to this venue, and now everybody here is just trying to survive the night. Ryan Coogler has really become one of those directors you gotta look out for. I mean, between Fruitvale Station, Creed, the Black Panthers, he's got a pretty impressive resume on his hands. Sinners, however, is the first truly original homegrown movie that he has given us. A movie that he has completely come up with on his own, was his idea. It was a movie he wanted to make. This isn't one, though, that I was really all that excited for. And it's nothing against him or it's nothing against the people in this movie. But when I saw the trailers and the marketing, I honestly didn't really know what this movie was about. I mean, the early reports you heard about this movie were it was a vampire movie or something along those lines, but the trailers I saw for it, at least the ones that I didn't really market it as such. Felt more like a western, period piece, musical even, action to a point. Didn't really get a whole lot of horror vibe from this movie, at least not as much as I thought we were gonna get from something like this, so I kind of went into this movie not really knowing what to expect. But when I tell you guys the hype was real with this movie, the hype was through the fucking roof. I mean, wow, the early reactions I was hearing about this movie, kind of insane. Wasn't a whole lot of bad buzz going around for this movie, so that definitely got me more excited for it. Now, one thing I want to establish right out the gate with this movie is this isn't the type of movie that just jumps right into the horror vampire element in this movie. No, this is a type of movie that does go for the slow burn approach a little bit, but I don't even know if slow burn is the right approach because namely what this movie does for, I want to say the first third of it, maybe even the first half, it's a lot of character building, a lot of establishment on who people are, who characters are, what they're doing, what their backstory is. So naturally for some people, the movie might feel a little bit slow, especially if you come here for the horror element in here. But I do think the slow build-up, or the slower build-up I should say rather, was totally worth it. Because what this movie does, that I think is really, really great, is it wants you to care about these characters. Ryan Coogler wants you to understand who these people are. Because naturally, in any other horror movie you go into, you meet the main character or main characters, and you quickly see some other people here and there, and you're like, okay, you're dying, you're dying, you're dying, we're just rooting for you. In this case, you feel like Ryan Coogler wants you to get to know and get attached to as many characters as you can, so that way, when shit really goes down, you feel something for all of them. Like, you feel a little bit more anxiety because you want most of these characters to live. And I thought for the most part, Ryan Coogler really did that. I thought the characters and the performances given by the actors, I thought they were all really good. Starting off with Michael B. Jordan. I think at this point, he and Ryan Coogler are becoming that new director-actor dynamic where the two of them are just gonna work together forever. Like, you'll never see one without the other when it comes to certain movies. Like, Ryan Coogler's just gonna have Michael B. Jordan in everything he makes. Which frankly, I'm fine with. The two clearly work well together, so keep it going. But Michael B. Jordan does awesome here. And what's really impressive with his performance here is he is playing two different characters. He's playing twin brothers. And what I really like seeing with Smoke and Stack is while they're twin brothers, they're very different people. Like, one's a little bit more of the serious, uptight, has some, past that burdens him a little bit, that he's still trying to work through. The other one's this very take charge, commands the room, more eccentric, more excited, kind of just, demands the attention of everybody. It makes for them being a really good tandem, and it made them both feel like different characters, and as a result, it makes Michael B. Jordan's performance even better because of what he's doing with both of them. But not even just in his case. I thought the entire cast across the board was really good. I mean, Haley Steinfeld, Jack O'Connell, Delroy Lindo, Wunmi Mosako. I think I butchered that completely. I completely bought into all their performances, all their characters. Thought they all did a really good job. But yeah, I gotta touch on the standout in this movie, the breakout performance of what's probably going to be the whole year, Miles Caton. Dude, where the fuck has this guy been hiding? Did some research after watching this movie when I got home. Apparently this is his first movie role ever. At least I'm pretty sure it is. And holy fuck, this dude's got a long career ahead of himself because he absolutely killed it in this movie. Because what I really love seeing in him is he plays like the preacher's son. So when, abnormal shit's going around, he feels like conflicted about how does he go about it. Because, on one side, he has his father. I mean, he's the preacher's son, so, his dad certainly feels the type of way of certain things going on in his life, but he also has this big passion for blues music, and, sometimes religion and music don't always coincide. Leaves him with a lot of conflict and how he's gonna find his own way and, what he wants to set up for himself. But he also has like a real innocence to him that, not only do you feel, but you feel like the characters feel as well. Like he just had a likability towards him. People want him to succeed. People want him to eventually, survive what eventually comes. And I completely bought into him as this blues musician because holy shit, apparently Miles Caton learned blues music for this movie. Apparently that's not something he just casually is able to do on the side. But it's like, dude, the fact that he learned how to play an entire genre of music flawlessly, mad respect to him. Like, it's pretty remarkable. And not just with the music, but just how he delivers his lines, how he holds up with other people. I mean, there are moments where he's having a conversation or he's sharing a scene with one of the more established people like Michael B. Jordan or Haley Steinfeld or Delroy Lindo, and he's completely stealing the show. Like, he is the scene stealer. I can't remember the last breakthrough performance that I really thought held their own against really established actors. I mean, one that comes to my mind is maybe Daphne Keane from Logan, but yeah, Miles Caton, add him to the fucking list. And yeah, as far as the music element in this movie goes, the music element here is awesome. I've never been a big blues guy, but there are some musical sequences, songs even, that I'm listening to, and I'm just like, I really want the soundtrack for this movie. And there are a couple songs, no doubt, I'm gonna be adding them to my playlist. I will be listening to them in my car, and I will be enjoying myself because they are that good. And it's not just the music itself, it's how the music really does work into the story. Like seeing a group of people enjoy this blues music and seeing maybe another group of people want to be a part of this music, but the people who maybe are a part of this music don't really feel like these people are a part of it or meant to be a part of it. It's one of those social commentary things that does make you think a little bit, that they illustrate through this movie without being propaganda or anything like that. I appreciate that. It makes the movie deeper. I mean, there are a couple moments in this movie, one in particular, where it's just this long shot around the people just enjoying this music and what it means for someone to be so good at this music and what someone being good at this music really means for not just themselves, but for the people around them. I mean, it's all like one continuous shot, which is remarkable in itself. You know how I feel about that. But again, it just shows the wider scale of how powerful music is. And I'm watching this moment, and I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, I don't know if I've seen musical sequences done as well as this in actual musicals. It's kind of amazing. The fact that Ryan Coogler went that hard with that really shows how committed he was to making these scenes really leave a lasting impression. And yeah, now getting into the horror element, the vampire element of this movie even, I thought that was handled really well. I mean, the movie does set you up in the beginning like it is going to be a horror movie, and it does throw in some jump scares here and there to kind of whet your appetite a little bit. But once it really goes down, once this movie establishes that the supernatural threat in this movie is in fact vampires, it completely hones into that and you are locked in, and this movie is actually pretty scary. Not so much in the appearance of the vampires or what the vampires are going to do to people necessarily, but it's the tension and the scenes with the vampires that I think is what makes it. Because there are moments where we know certain things about characters that the characters don't know. So when they're just having what might be a very simple, ordinary conversation with certain people, we know what's going on, and as a result, for me anyway, it had my heart in my throat. Because you know what's coming, and you know something's gonna happen, but you don't know when, you don't know how, you just know. And sometimes the most scary thing in life is the unknown. And this movie played into that a lot. I think that's awesome. It reaches a point in the movie where the characters don't entirely know who they can trust. There are people that they want to trust, but they know they probably shouldn't. Makes for some very surprisingly emotional moments in this movie. I mean, moments where, people who were once very close with each other maybe don't know if they can believe one another anymore. Because when you watch this movie and you see the situation unfold before itself, it's like, what do you do? How do you help someone? Can you help someone? Do you dare help someone? So on one hand, you might think you're saving someone's life, and on another hand, you might be putting the lives of a lot of other people at risk. Also, when the movie wants to kick on the action side is fun. And characters going up against vampires or other people who are trying to cause harm to them, It's very entertaining shit. And that's ultimately what I could tell people right now. This movie does have a lot of payoff. If you were going into this expecting a vampire movie, it's maybe not like that right out the gate, but what you ultimately do get really does pay off. At the end of the movie, it's bloody, it's emotional, it's violent, it's scary. Has you on the edge of your seat because you really have no idea exactly how it's all gonna come to fruition. And the fact that it was all these different genres of like Western and period piece and horror and action and musical. I mean, typically when a movie tries to be all these different genres, it feels completely messy, it feels totally inconsistent. This movie found a way to interweave all those genres and give us what we have here. I want to just give further props to Ryan Coogler right here. He finds a way to incorporate his message and propaganda, not even propaganda, that's the wrong way to say it, but social commentary into a movie the right way. Because in what is this day and age, in every movie you watch nowadays, or what feels like every movie you see nowadays, some sort of messaging and propaganda is always sprinkled into a movie. Maybe it's subtle, or it thinks it's being subtle. Maybe it's full on in your face. And that's what can knock an audience right out of it. That was the death of Snow White, essentially, because they just beat you over the head with everything. Ryan Coogler finds a way to interweave certain issues or messages into his story that it completely fits, which is smart filmmaking. I am someone who's not against having messages or an agenda even in your movie, but make it make sense for your movie. In here, it absolutely does. Ryan Coogler is someone who knows that he can put messaging into his movie, but he has to make a great movie first and foremost. And that's what he does here. If there is one flaw that I have with this movie, I do think it drags on a little longer than it needed to. Like the ending of the movie happens, you're thinking, okay, that's where it's wrapped up, that's where we're done. And then it kind of keeps going. You say, oh, okay, so this is what happened here. And then we get to the mid-credit scene. And the mid-credit scene is ultimately where the last part of this movie happens. I'm not sure if I would have handled it that way, putting like the real finale of your movie into the mid-credit scene, because I guarantee you, this happened in my showing anyway. There were people who got up and left before that scene even happened. And even in this mid-credit scene, it's not like most mid-credit scenes. It's not like a Marvel mid-credit scene where it's like a minute-long clip and that's the end of it. No, this scene legitimately goes on for a little while. And I'm not mad about it. It provided a lot of clarity and closure to certain characters and certain storylines. Like, it legitimately felt like the ending of the movie. So I'm very glad I stuck around for it. I just wish more people out there were aware of it, because it's not something you typically see in movies. So I guess I'll say that right now. If you plan on seeing this movie, which I think you should, definitely stick around for the mid-credit scene. So all in all, Sinners is that rare movie that actually lives up to its absurd hype. Ryan Coogler's direction of this movie was fantastic. The guy's an incredible talent behind the camera. I love that he shot this movie with IMAX film cameras, by the way. I saw this movie in IMAX, not IMAX 70mm, because I don't have any of those theaters playing near me, but I can only imagine what that looked like, because holy shit, that probably was epic. I love that he found a way to incorporate messaging without beating you over the head with it and making it feel like part of a story. It shows how smart he is as a filmmaker. He knows what the audiences want. The actors across the board did a great job. Michael B. Jordan, this is probably the best I've ever seen him in a movie. And Miles Caton, I cannot wait to see what this kid does next in a movie, because he's got an amazing future for himself. The movie was somehow able to take all these different genres, make them go splat, and gave us something really, really special. It absolutely crushed every genre it was trying to interweave into the movie. It had great music I want to listen to again and again and again. It had horror that had me on the edge of my seat. It had action that was awesome. It felt like a Western from back in the day. It just crushed on all of that. I was so impressed. I thought the writing of this movie was great too. Not just as a story, but just the way characters talk to each other. It was very real. They had some moments of dialogue that were really intense, really heavy. Some moments of dialogue that were actually pretty funny. It's a movie that scares you, makes you laugh, maybe even makes you tear up a little bit. That's a great screenplay. I do wish the ending didn't drag on as long as it did. I do wish they kind of contained that into the movie. It didn't really extend that into the mid-credit scene. I think I'm speaking that more for the audience members that walked out before they saw that. But in the end, this is without question the best movie I have seen so far in 2025. Safe to say this is probably a lock for my top 10 best list of 2025. and I got a feeling it won't be 10th. And this is a movie that I cannot recommend enough. You absolutely gotta check this one out. I'm giving this one a 9 out of 10, which makes Sinners wicked awesome. Safe to say, if Ryan Coogler hasn't joined the Superstar Directors Club, he has now. He is officially in that list. I cannot wait to see what he does next. Funny enough, apparently in the credits he thanked Christopher Nolan for giving him the guidance on how to use IMAX film cameras for his movie. I kind of feel like his career has harkened a little bit towards Christopher Nolan, you know. Both kind of got their start or really became well known for making movies that were based off something, namely comic book characters. And then after that, Christopher Nolan kind of shifted a little bit more into original ideas and original stories. Kind of feel like Ryan Coogler started to do the same now. And I'll say this much, Marvel, you've seen what Ryan Coogler did with Black Panther. If you want to finally get that Blade movie made, maybe see if he's interested in that too. So that's all I gotta say, guys. Thank you so much for watching my video, and as always, don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.